The tragedy is not that we aim too high and miss. The tragedy is that we aim too low and hit. The tragedy is that we settle for crumbs when we could have the whole feast. The tragedy is that we accept mediocrity as our standard when excellence was always within our reach. And perhaps the greatest tragedy of all is that we let our lives slip away one day at a time without ever truly living them. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. When was the last time you felt truly alive? When was the last time you woke up excited about the day ahead, energized by the possibilities, driven by a sense of purpose that made your heart race with anticipation? If you can't remember, or if it's been too long, then you're exactly where you need to be today, listening to these words, because it's time for a change. You see, most people die at 25, but aren't buried until 75. They stop growing, they stop dreaming, they stop believing in themselves somewhere along the way. They get caught up in the routine, the mediocrity, the small thinking that society tries to impose upon them. They start believing that their current circumstances are permanent, that their present situation defines their future possibilities. But that's not true, and I'm here to remind you of that truth today. Life is seasons. Everything changes. Nothing stays the same forever. The winter of your discontent can become the spring of your opportunity. The autumn of your disappointment can transform into the summer of your greatest achievements. But here's what you must understand. Seasons change naturally, but personal change requires intervention. You must become the architect of your own transformation. The first thing you must do if you don't want to waste your life is to take full responsibility for where you are right now. Not blame responsibility. There's a difference, and it's crucial. Blame looks backward and makes excuses. Responsibility looks forward and makes changes. You are where you are because of the choices you've made, the habits you've developed, the thoughts you've entertained, and the actions you've taken or failed to take. This isn't about beating yourself up. This is about empowerment. Because if you got yourself where you are, then you have the power to get yourself somewhere else. If your choices created your current reality, then better choices can create a better reality. If your past decisions led you here, then future decisions can lead you there wherever there is for you. But you must be willing to pay the price. Success is not a miracle. It's not luck. It's not reserved for the chosen few. Success is simply the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. It's about doing the right things for the right reasons for a long enough period of time. The problem is most people aren't willing to pay that price. They want the harvest, but they're not willing to plant the seeds. They want the reward, but they're not willing to do the work. Let me tell you something about work. Work is not your enemy. Work is not something to be avoided or minimized. Work is the price you pay for the privilege of living the life you want to live. And I don't just mean your job, though that's part of it. I mean the work of personal development, the work of building character, the work of developing skills, the work of cultivating relationships, the work of serving others, the work of becoming the person you're capable of becoming. You cannot hire someone else to do your push-ups for you. You cannot pay someone else to develop your character for you. You cannot delegate your personal growth to someone else. These are things you must do yourself, and if you don't do them, they don't get done. And if they don't get done, you waste your life by default. Now, I want to talk to you about time, because time is the raw material of life. How you spend your time is how you spend your life. And most people are incredibly careless with their time. They treat it as if it's unlimited, as if there's always going to be more, as if tomorrow is guaranteed. But time is not unlimited. It's the most finite resource you have, and once it's gone forever. Think about this. If someone gave you a bank account with $86,400 in it every morning, but told you that whatever you didn't spend by the end of the day would be lost forever, what would you do? You'd spend every penny, wouldn't you? You'd find ways to invest it, to use it productively, to make sure none of it went to waste. Well, that's exactly what happens with time. Every day you get 86,400 seconds deposited into your time account. Whatever you don't invest wisely is lost forever. So how are you investing your time? Are you investing it in activities that move you closer to your goals, or are you spending it on things that don't matter? Are you using it to build something meaningful, or are you letting it slip away on distractions and trivialities? Are you investing it in relationships that enrich your life, or are you wasting it with people who drain your energy and discourage your dreams? The problem is not that we don't have enough time. We all get the same 24 hours. The problem is that we don't use our time well. We don't prioritize properly. We don't distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. We let the immediate crowd out the significant. We let the tyranny of the urgent keep us from the important work of building a meaningful life. You must learn to say no to good things so you can say yes to great things. You must learn to distinguish between being busy and being productive. Activity is not achievement. Motion is not progress. You can be incredibly busy and still waste your life if your busyness isn't directed toward meaningful goals. And this brings me to the importance of having a clear sense of direction. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. You cannot arrive at a destination you haven't identified. You cannot build a meaningful life without first defining what meaningful means to you. Most people are like ships without anchors, drifting with every wind and tide, ending up wherever the currents take them instead of where they want to go. If you want to stop wasting your life, you must get clear about what you want your life to stand for. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to contribute? What do you want to be remembered for? What would you regret not doing if this were the last day of your life? These aren't easy questions, but they're essential questions, and you must answer them for yourself. Goals are not just wishes or dreams. Goals are destinations with deadlines. They're specific, measurable targets that give direction to your daily activities. Without goals, your life becomes reactive instead of proactive. You respond to whatever happens instead of creating what you want to happen. You let circumstances dictate your direction instead of letting your vision guide your choices. But here's what's interesting about goals. The real value is not in achieving them, though that's important. The real value is in who you become in the process of pursuing them. Goals are like a magnet that draws out of you capabilities and qualities you didn't even know you had. They force you to grow, to stretch, to become more than you were. And this is why personal development is not optional if you want to avoid wasting your life. You must commit to becoming more than you are today. You must commit to continuous growth, continuous learning, continuous improvement. The day you stop growing is the day you start dying, even if your heart keeps beating for many years afterward. Personal development is like the root system of a tree. You can't see it, but it's what nourishes everything else. It's what makes growth possible. It's what provides stability when the storms come. And storms will come. Life will test you. Circumstances will challenge you. People will disappoint you. The question is not whether these things will happen. They will. The question is whether you'll be ready for them when they do. You get ready by working on yourself. You get ready by building your knowledge, developing your skills, strengthening your character, and expanding your capacity to handle whatever life brings your way. You get ready by reading books that stretch your mind, by surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to be better, by putting yourself in situations that require you to grow. Most people work harder on their job than they do on themselves, and then they wonder why their life doesn't work. They'll spend 8 hours a day making someone else's dreams come true, but won't spend 8 minutes a day working on their own dreams. They'll invest thousands of dollars in their company's success, but won't invest $100 in their own education. They'll go to great lengths to maintain their car, but won't do the basic maintenance required to maintain their health, their relationships, or their peace of mind. You must reverse this trend. You must make yourself your number one investment, not in a selfish way, but in a strategic way. Because the better you become, the more you can contribute. The more you develop your capabilities, the more valuable you become to yourself and others. The stronger you become emotionally and mentally, the better equipped you are to handle life's challenges and to help others handle theirs. This means you must become a student again. Not necessarily in a formal classroom, though that might be appropriate for some of you, but a student of life, a student of success, a student of human nature, a student of whatever field you want to excel in. You must develop what I call a learning lifestyle, a commitment to continuous education that doesn't end when you get your degree, but continues for as long as you live. Read books, good books, books that challenge your thinking and expand your understanding. Books written by people who have achieved what you want to achieve, who have overcome what you want to overcome, who have learned what you want to learn. A book is like having a conversation with some of the wisest people who have ever lived. It's like getting mentored by experts without having to pay consulting fees. But don't just read for information, read for transformation. Apply what you learn. Test new ideas. Experiment with different approaches. Turn knowledge into wisdom through experience. Information without application is just entertainment. Wisdom comes from applying what you've learned and learning from the results. And speaking of results, you must become results-oriented if you want to stop wasting your life. Most people are activity-oriented. They focus on how busy they are, how hard they're working, how many hours they're putting in. But successful people are results-oriented. They focus on what they're accomplishing, what they're producing, what they're achieving. This doesn't mean you ignore the process. The process is important. But the process is only valuable if it leads to the results you want. If your current process isn't producing the results you want, then you need to change your process. Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Yet, that's exactly what most people do. They keep using the same approaches, the same strategies, the same habits that have produced their current results, and they hope somehow their future will be different. Your future will be different only if you make different choices. Your results will change only if you change your approach. Your life will improve only if you improve. And improvement requires honest assessment of where you are and what's working and what's not working in your life. This brings me to one of the most important concepts I can share with you: the power of small changes consistently applied. You don't have to change everything all at once. In fact, trying to change everything at once is usually a recipe for failure. But you do need to change something, and you need to change it consistently. Small changes consistently applied create major results over time. This is the compound effect in action. Just as compound interest can turn small investments into large fortunes over time, small improvements in your daily habits can transform your entire life over time. The key is consistency. It's not what you do occasionally that shapes your life. It's what you do consistently. If you read just 30 minutes a day, you'll read about 15 books a year. In 10 years, that's 150 books. Do you think reading 150 good books would change your life? Of course it would. But most people won't do it because they're looking for the quick fix, the magic bullet, the overnight transformation. They want to change their life without changing their lifestyle, and that's impossible. If you exercise just 30 minutes a day, you'll be in the top 10% of the population in terms of physical fitness. If you save just $5 a day and invest it properly, you'll be financially independent within 30 years. If you tell the people you love that you love them just once a day, you'll have stronger relationships than 90% of the population. These are small things, but they create massive results when done consistently over time. The problem is, these small positive changes don't seem to matter at first. When you start reading 30 minutes a day, you don't immediately become smarter. When you start exercising 30 minutes a day, you don't immediately become fit. When you start saving $5 a day, you don't immediately become wealthy. The results are delayed, so people give up before they see the payoff. But here's the thing, the small negative things don't seem to matter at first either. When you skip reading today, nothing bad happens immediately. When you skip exercising today, nothing bad happens immediately. When you skip saving today, nothing bad happens immediately. But these small negative choices are also creating compound results that work against you instead of for you. This is why most people end up wasting their lives. They make small, poor choices consistently, and before they know it, those choices have compounded into a life they don't want. They wake up one day wondering how they got where they are, not realizing that they got there one choice at a time, one day at a time, 1 year at a time. The good news is that you can reverse this process starting today. You can start making small positive choices that will compound in your favor. You can start building momentum in the right direction. You can start creating the life you want instead of accepting the life you have by default. But you must start. Sunday is not a day of the week. Tomorrow never comes. It's always today. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The perfect time to start changing your life will never arrive because there is no perfect time. There are only opportunities, and you must seize them when they come. This requires courage. It takes courage to change. It takes courage to admit that your current approach isn't working. It takes courage to try something new, to risk failure, to step outside your comfort zone. It takes courage to take responsibility for your life instead of blaming circumstances or other people for where you are. Most people let fear keep them trapped in lives they don't want. They're afraid of making mistakes, afraid of what others will think, afraid of failing, afraid of succeeding, afraid of the unknown. But here's what I want you to understand. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Your breakthrough is on the other side of your breakdown. Your success is on the other side of your fear. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is information. It's telling you that something matters to you. It's telling you that you're about to do something significant. It's telling you that you're growing. The goal is not to eliminate fear, but to act in spite of it. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And when you do act in spite of your fear, something magical happens. You discover that you're stronger than you thought you were. You discover that you can handle more than you thought you could handle. You discover that most of the things you were afraid of weren't as scary as you imagined they would be. You build confidence through action, and confidence makes future action easier. This is how you break free from a wasted life, one courageous action at a time. Not giant leaps necessarily, but consistent steps in the right direction. Not perfect execution, but persistent effort. Not immediate transformation, but gradual improvement that compounds over time into extraordinary results. Now, I want to talk to you about the importance of taking care of your health, because you cannot build a meaningful life in a body that's breaking down. You cannot achieve your goals if you don't have the energy to pursue them. You cannot serve others effectively if you're not taking care of yourself properly. Your body is not just a vehicle for your brain. Your body affects your brain. Your physical health affects your mental health. Your energy level affects your mood. Your fitness level affects your confidence. Your nutrition affects your ability to think clearly and make good decisions. If you want to stop wasting your life, you must stop wasting your health. This doesn't mean you have to become a fitness fanatic or a health food extremist. It means you have to take basic care of yourself. It means you have to move your body regularly, feed it nutritious food, give it adequate rest, and protect it from unnecessary harm. It means you have to treat your body like the temple it is instead of like a trash can. Most people abuse their body for 40 years and then expect medicine to fix the damage in their final years. They eat garbage, never exercise, don't get enough sleep, live under constant stress, and then wonder why they feel terrible and can't perform at their best. You cannot violate natural laws without consequences. You cannot neglect your health without paying a price. The price you pay for neglecting your health is not just physical. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual as well. When you don't feel good physically, you don't think as clearly. When you don't have energy, you don't pursue opportunities as aggressively. When you're constantly tired or sick, you don't contribute as much to your family, your community, or your profession. Good health is not everything, but without good health, everything else is nothing. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, you can't enjoy it. You can achieve all your goals, but if you don't have your health, you can't celebrate them. You can build wonderful relationships, but if you don't have your health, you can't fully participate in them. So make your health a priority, not someday, today. Start where you are with what you have. If you haven't exercised in years, start with a 10-minute walk. If your diet is terrible, start by adding one healthy meal a day. If you never get enough sleep, start by going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Small changes consistently applied will transform your health over time. And while we're talking about taking care of yourself, let's talk about taking care of your relationships. Relationships are not optional if you want to live a meaningful life. We are social creatures. We need connection. We need love, We need to feel like we belong, like we matter, like we're part of something bigger than ourselves. But relationships don't just happen automatically. They require investment. They require attention. They require effort. They require the same kind of consistency that everything else worthwhile requires. You must water your relationships or they will die. You must nurture them or they will wither. You must invest in them or they will provide no return. Most people take their relationships for granted. They assume that the people who love them will always be there, that their friends will always understand, that their family will always forgive them. But relationships are like bank accounts. If you only make withdrawals without making deposits, you'll eventually go bankrupt. What kind of deposits can you make in your relationships? Time is a deposit. Attention is a deposit. Appreciation is a deposit. Encouragement is a deposit. Service is a deposit. Kindness is a deposit. Forgiveness is a deposit. These are the things that build relationship capital. And relationship capital is one of the most valuable assets you can have. Strong relationships make everything else in life better. They provide support when you're struggling, celebration when you're succeeding, comfort when you're hurting, and joy when you're happy. They give meaning to your achievements and help you through your failures. They remind you that you're not alone in this world and that your life matters to someone. But weak relationships make everything else in life harder. They drain your energy instead of giving you energy. They create stress instead of reducing it. They discourage you instead of encouraging you. They hold you back instead of helping you move forward. They make you question your worth instead of affirming your value. This is why you must be very careful about who you spend time with. You become like the people you associate with most. If you hang around with negative people, you'll become more negative. If you hang around with positive people, you'll become more positive. If you hang around with successful people, you'll start thinking and acting more like a successful person. If you hang around with unsuccessful people, you'll start adopting their habits and attitudes. I'm not saying you should abandon people who are going through difficult times. I'm saying you should be intentional about who has major influence in your life. There's a difference between helping someone who's temporarily down and allowing someone to permanently drag you down. You need mentors, people who are where you want to be and can show you how to get there. You need peers, people who are on a similar journey and can encourage you along the way. And you need people you can mentor, people you can serve and help, because serving others is one of the ways you find meaning and purpose in your own life. This brings me to perhaps the most important point of all. If you want to stop wasting your life, you must find a way to contribute something meaningful to the world. You must find a way to make a difference. You must find a way to leave the world better than you found it. This doesn't mean you have to change the entire world. It means you have to change your part of the world. It might be your family. It might be your community. It might be your profession. It might be a cause you believe in, but it must be something bigger than yourself, because a life lived only for yourself is ultimately an empty life. Human beings are happiest when they're growing and contributing. Growing gives you a sense of progress. Contributing gives you a sense of purpose. Together they give you a sense of fulfillment that nothing else can provide. Money won't do it. Fame won't do it. Pleasure won't do it. Only growth and contribution can give you the deep satisfaction that comes from knowing your life has mattered. The beautiful thing is that you don't have to wait until you've made it to start contributing. You can start contributing right where you are with what you have right now. You can start being kinder to the people you encounter. You can start being more encouraging to the people in your life. You can start looking for ways to help, to serve, to add value wherever you go. Every person you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Every person you encounter is dealing with challenges, fears, and struggles that are real to them, even if they seem insignificant to you. You have the power to make their day a little brighter, their load a little lighter, their hope a little stronger. You have the power to be a source of encouragement instead of discouragement, of light instead of darkness, of help instead of harm. And when you start living this way, when you start focusing on what you can give instead of what you can get, when you start looking for ways to contribute instead of ways to consume, when you start asking, how can I help? Instead of what's in it for me, something wonderful happens. Your own life becomes more meaningful. Your own problems seem smaller. Your own purpose becomes clearer. This is the paradox of life. You must lose your life to find it. You must give your life away to keep it. You must serve others to serve yourself. You must focus on making others successful to become successful yourself. You must help others get what they want to get what you want. But here's what you must understand. This isn't just philosophy. This is strategy. This is how the world actually works. People do business with people they like and trust. People promote people who help them succeed. People recommend people who add value to their lives. People invest in people who invest in them first. So if you want to succeed in any area of life, become the kind of person who helps others succeed. If you want to be loved, become a loving person. If you want to be trusted, become a trustworthy person. If you want to be respected, become a respectable person. If you want to be valuable, become a person who adds value to others. This is not manipulation. This is not using people. This is understanding that we're all connected, that we all need each other, that the best way to get what you want is to help others get what they want. This is understanding that success is not a solo journey, but a team effort. And the best teams are made up of people who are committed to each other's success. Now, as we begin to wrap up our time together, I want to leave you with some practical steps you can take starting today to ensure that you don't waste your life. First, get clear about what you want. Write down your goals. Be specific. Be measurable. Set deadlines. Make them challenging but achievable. Review them regularly. Adjust them as needed. But have them. A life without goals is like a ship without a destination. It will end up somewhere, but probably not where you want to be. Second, develop a daily routine that moves you toward your goals. What are you going to do every single day to get closer to where you want to be? What books will you read? What skills will you develop? What habits will you build? What relationships will you nurture? What services will you provide? Map out your day in advance. I don't just let it happen. Make it happen. Third, surround yourself with people who inspire you to be better. Find mentors who can guide you. Find peers who can encourage you. Find people you can serve. Limit your time with people who drain your energy or discourage your dreams. You don't have to be mean about it, but you do have to be protective of your mental and emotional environment. Fourth, invest in yourself consistently. Read books, take courses, attend seminars. Learn new skills, expand your knowledge, strengthen your character, improve your health. Work on yourself harder than you work on anything else, because everything else depends on who you become. Fifth, take action despite your fears. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until you have all the answers. Don't wait until the timing is perfect. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. 6, measure your progress regularly. What gets measured gets managed. What gets tracked gets improved. Keep score. Celebrate your victories, even the small ones. Learn from your setbacks. Adjust your approach as needed, but keep moving forward. 7th, be patient with the process, but impatient with yourself. Success takes time. Results compound gradually. Don't expect overnight transformation, but don't use that as an excuse for complacency. Push yourself, challenge yourself, hold yourself to high standards. Be your own best critic and your own best cheerleader. And finally, remember that this is your life, not your parents' life, not your spouse's life, not your friend's life, not society's life, your life. You get to choose how to spend it. You get to decide what to do with it. You get to determine what it means and what it's worth. Don't let other people's opinions become your reality. Don't let other people's fears become your limitations. Don't let other people's small thinking become your standard. You have within you right now everything you need to start building the life you want. You have intelligence, creativity, energy, and potential that are waiting to be unleashed. The only question is, will you unleash them? Will you use them? Will you act on them? Will you turn your potential into reality, your dreams into achievements, your hopes into results? The clock is ticking. Time is passing. Life is happening. You can choose to waste it, or you can choose to invest it. You can choose to drift through it, or you can choose to direct it. You can choose to accept whatever happens, or you can choose to create what you want to happen. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The responsibility is yours. The opportunity is yours. The time is now. Don't waste it. Don't waste your life. Make it count. Make it matter. Make it magnificent. Your life is a gift. What are you going to do with it?